Hey, welcome back to Life You Imagined. My name is Nico, and today we're looking at the book Refuse to Choose. Refuse. So, tell me if this sounds like you. First of all, you're a creatively focused person. What? Me too. Hey, sweet. Is the sound. So you're creatively focused, but you have a lot of interests in life. Lots of interests. So you're interested in maybe doing writing. You also do some art. Maybe you do music. Maybe you dance, perform, sing. You make things like physical art or clothing. You design stuff, whether graphics. Maybe you build websites. You like to learn about all kinds of things. Maybe you do I don't know, games. I mean, all kinds of stuff. You have all these interests in life, but you feel pressured to pick just one of them and turn it into a career. Does that sound familiar? Have you been there before? Because I have. I have lots of stuff I like to do, and I've always felt that I had to just pick one fucking thing. No matter how many interests I had, no many things were calling to me, how many things I felt passionate about, it was just the one fucking thing I had to do. It feels like a lot of advice you get from, especially like parents and families, like, well, you like all this stuff, so that's great, but you can't make a career out of that. This is obviously your dad talking, that's his voice. But a lot of people think this. You have to choose the one thing, right? You go to school for it, you go to college, and then you have a career in that one thing, and you do the one thing for the rest of your life. Now, this type of mentality is, I think, gradually fading out of the sort of current social norms. It was much more popular with our grandparents' generation, and still a little bit in our parents' generation, but you see a lot more different points of view these days coming up. But it still exists. We still have our parents telling us these things. We still have society telling us these things. And so we feel that it's kind of like, what's the master of none, basically, right? That we have so many interests and so many things we want to do, but we can't do them all, right? It sucks, so I guess I have to pick just one. But it's hard. Do you ever get discouraged with the idea? Does it feel frustrating that you have to just pick one fucking thing? That you have to just choose one thing? Well, maybe we should refuse to choose, because I set it up to be able to say that. Okay, that was dumb. So this book I initially picked up because I have some people that are close to me that definitely deal with this issue, that they like so many things, they're interested in so many things, but they have trouble focusing on any one of them or wanting to commit to any one of them. And I thought, when I was going to read this, that I would read this kind of to understand them better and to be able to help them. But what I found was actually surprising, because what I thought was, I was reading this for someone else or a few other people in my life. It ended up being really personal. And I found so much of myself in the pages here. So much of what she described. And I was actually kind of surprised, because I didn't think I was this kind of person as much. I thought, no, I already know what I'm doing. I do these handful of things. And the more I thought about it, I'm like, actually, I have tons of shit that I like doing and I like learning about, and I don't really want to have to just do one of them. I want to do many of them. Maybe fucking all of them. I want to fuck all of them. That's going on the cutting room floor. Let's not have the part where I talk about wanting to fuck all my interests. I'm not a sociopath. So she, the author, Barbara Sher, in I believe one of her previous books, I think it's in my queue. This is my queue, by the way, in my new little bookshelves. In one of her older books, which I haven't gotten to yet, she coined a term for a certain type of person, for this mentality, the person that wants to continually try everything under the sun and doesn't necessarily want to settle down for anything. She calls them scanners, and I guess based on the idea that they're always sort of scanning the horizon for the next thing, the new thing, the cool new, interest to have, thing to explore. And apparently, there's a lot of different types of scanners in here. She details in this book, was it 8, 10, some pretty sizable number, I was surprised, of different types of scanners, the way different people in this general category approach life and what they want out of life. And it's really fucking cool. as I said, I found myself in this. There was one of the types, actually a little bit of a mashup, because these are just general archetypes, but general mashup of a couple of them, mostly one with the hints of a few other ones, that I was like, wow, yeah, that's totally me. That's what I like. That's how I approach things. One thing, I wanted to bring this up on a personal note. One thing this book made me realize about myself is that apparently I need permission to live the kind of life I want to live. I don't know where this came from, because in some ways I have a very sort of rebellious nature, usually artistically, and I don't seem to have any problem just exploring musical ideas that may or may not be popular or what certain people expect to hear from me or anything like that. Just because I'm having fun, I go, fuck it, I'm having a good time. I want to do this thing. But when it comes to living my life, actual daily life, even though I'm drawn to just, you know, the old quote, marching to the beat of your own drummer, just doing whatever the fuck I want to do, and you say, who gives a shit what other people think or what they're doing in life, apparently I don't live it as much, or I struggle with it or something, because I felt like I needed, like it was bad. It was bad for me to live this weird life that I've constructed for myself, where I focus almost exclusively on my projects and my creative things, although I've been balancing a lot more lately, which is good, so that's an improvement. Realizing there's more to life than just my projects. Blasphemy, says my old self. But yeah, the idea that I would need permission to actually do the things I want to do in life and live the kind of life I want to live, that was interesting to me. I don't know if that's authority issues, if I don't have the kind of confidence necessary to follow. I don't know, probably a mix of things, but that was interesting. This book was the one that made me, why do I need that? Why can't I just do what I want to do? I don't know. Worth exploring. As I said, she lists multiple types of scanners, and this is very thorough. So surprisingly thorough actually, she has chapters on each type of scanner, kind of from her work coaching all kinds of people. She's come up with these general, as I said, these kind of general categories of the way that these different types of scanners approach life. She gives you a life philosophy for each one, kind of a way to look at things, a way to go about things, a way to think about things that work with your natural tendencies, the way your brain naturally wants to operate. And she also gives you career options that work with that type of thinking, that type of brain you have, which I thought was really cool. And there's a couple for each one. It's not just like, here's the one thing, you're going to be a doctor. It's not like that. It's like, here are types of approaches to careers or making money. And it doesn't have to always be a career. Sometimes it's just different ways to think about making money that work with the kind of person that you are and the kind of life you want to live. Again, so helpful, really useful stuff if you relate to that. One of the big reasons why scanners tend to do what they do, it's about understanding what actually equates to a reward for you. And a lot of people think it's a total waste of time to sit there and maybe take a class in a subject, let's say photography or something. Let's say you've always been interested in photography. It's a fascinating subject. You're like, cool, I want to know about that. And you take this photography course, maybe online or in person, but then you never do anything with it. You don't really get a camera, you don't get any lights, you don't practice, you took the course and you're like, I'm fine. Other people would ask you, so you took this photography course. What are you doing with it? Are you taking photos? Are you going to try to turn it into a career or turn it into an income stream? And you'd be like, no, I'm done with that. A lot of people think that's ridiculous. It was a total waste of your time. But what she talks about in here, and I guess a lot of times you forget this, it seems obvious, but sometimes just learning is its own reward. Scanners tend to, in general, just love to learn about shit. They want to experience random things. Not random things, they want to experience specific things that they're interested in. And then, they create that memory, you create that experience, you learn about that, and you're good. Like, check mark, I got what I wanted. And to know that that's okay, yes, the book gave me permission, that it's okay to just pursue things and spend money on things and spend time on things just because I wanted to learn about it. That was the satisfaction I got. That was great. I had a great time learning about it. I don't always need to turn every single one of these into a business or an income stream or a career. And that's what she always encourages in this whole thing, is that all this, like, a lot of scanners feel pressured that they have to turn every one of their interests into a career or into an income stream, or everything they do has to be somehow manifested physically into the world as a thing they do to prove to other people. I don't know. So lots of scanners end up getting very discouraged right off the bat, and they don't even start. They don't even start pursuing their interests because there's so much pressure they feel to have to follow and conform to these traditional standards that we have about how to make money and making a career and pursuing interests in life. We have to apparently always do something with them. And she's basically kind of saying that's bullshit. In fact, so much so that her advice for scanners in general is to start everything you've ever wanted to research, learn about, fuck around with, play with, anything. Start all of the projects, not simultaneously, because your whole place would be a fucking mess and you couldn't keep track of it. But whatever calls to you, just work on it. And here's the not the hard part, but here's the part that's challenging. When you lose interest in it, stop. What? Yeah, I had a hard time with that one initially because it feels wrong to stop doing something just because you're uninterested. But what other reason is there to do it? You picked it up because you were interested in learning about it or doing it or practicing it, trying it, seeing what it was like. And if that interest goes away, then who fucking cares? Stop doing it. Move on to the next thing. Go to the next interest you want to explore. And that's, again, okay. It's okay to do that. And I guess I'm trying to pass on that sense of permission if that has ever been an issue for you, feeling like I shouldn't do it, it's wrong to do it, I can't do it that way. Fuck it. It's your goddamn life. Live it how you want to live it. If you just want to research tons of stuff and learn about tons of things and learn this language and learn this skill and, have a day where you go and experience this one thing and then never do it again because that's what you wanted. Check mark. Got my satisfaction. Great. Awesome. It's a good memory you got. Who knows? Maybe it could come in handy sometime, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to. I always beat myself up over this shit because I always feel everything I do has to come in handy. I have to use this somehow. How can I turn this into like an income stream or something I could survive or a creative project that I could put out into the world? All this fucking pressure I deal with on my fucking self. It's stupid, but it's also human. Hooray, being a human. Hooray. So another thing I really liked about this book is it's very actionable. Every chapter has a review of all the major topics and points that she made. So it's easy to kind of reconnect with that and to keep the learning process going. And it also has a lot of exercises and questions she asks you and things that she asks you to do. So it's very useful. It's very applicable. It's very actionable. It's very pragmatic, which I love because that's kind of my main word is pragmatic. I want things to actually work. That's what I'm looking for. Things that fucking work. If this sounds like you, if you felt like, again, you had to always pick one thing and you always wanted to learn about a million things and try a million things and you don't really care about necessarily making any one of them into your main career or the one thing you have to pick, please check out this book. This book is fucking awesome. I love this book. And again, it was a surprising turn of events for me because I thought I was reading it for other people to understand them better or to maybe be able to recommend it or not, depending on my opinion, to them. And instead I was like, oh my God, that's me. I do that. I feel that way. Oh my God. And this felt so liberating to read this. As I said, it gave me permission. I shouldn't even use quotes. It did. It actually gave me permission to just do all the things I want to do when I feel like doing them, which goes against a lot of the productivity advice you'll see out there from a lot of business books. But what's the goal? You want to enjoy yourself. And if you know that learning is one of the rewards you get from things, it's just learning about stuff, having an experience, creating a memory, then fucking do all those things. So you might find yourself, like I did, in this book if that sounds at all familiar to you. So highly recommended, highly, highly recommended. Please go check it out. I have a link in the description to the full written review, and I have links from there to buy the book on Amazon. If, again, this sounds like it's up your proverbial alley. This is Life You Imagined. My name is Nico, and I will see you next time. Goodbye. Hey, welcome back to Life You Imagined. My name is Nico, and today we're going to be looking at the book, Refuse to Choose. Never choose anything. It's a good lesson to learn in life. To keep the learning process going, Hey, welcome back to Life You Imagined. My name is Nico, and today we are looking at the book, That was scary. Refuse to choose. Looks like fuse to choose. The stickers covering up the re. Or what would that be? A weird looking lowercase c. Confuse.
Hey, you want to be a better person? You want to live a better life? Sweet! Make sure you hit subscribe on Life You Imagined YouTube channel. Don't forget to hit that fucking notification bell so you're always up to date with all the newest offerings from Life You Imagined. Don't forget to go ahead and hit like on the video and share with all your friends. Leave a comment with all your fucking useless information, because I'm never going to read it. Oh, and make sure you go over to lifeyouimagine.com and check out everything I have over there. Look at me, buy my stuff, do everything I want you to do, sales, marketing, promo, buy my stuff, buy it, look at me, pay attention to me and everything I do. I'm insecure.